Hello again. In this second part, we are going to deal with the seventh exercise, which is write an algorithm that declare an array of 9 nodes whose value are then entered by the user. So after those values are entered, the average of score is calculated and display on the screen. So we are going to declare an array that will receive 9 nodes. Then after that it will calculate the average. After calculating the average, it will display that average on the screen. So one thing that you need to know, by adding, let's not call it nodes, let's call it score. By entering, you need first to enter this student score in your array. After they're in there, the next step will be to calculate the sum, because you cannot get the average without the sum of those scores. After that, after getting the sum, you see it will be very easy for you to calculate the average. Let's do it. Okay, number 7. Here we will need to declare a variable variable s as an integer. This variable s will store the sum of the scores, and we'll have this array. Let's say it's score. We will enter 9 value. That means we can put 8 as a float. Okay, and then we start our array. Let's assume that we initialize our sum with 0. Now, since we assume that already this 9 scores has been entered before, what next? We are going now to calculate the sum of these scores. But if you want, you can even enter them, but the kind of exercise we have done it in the previous exercise in part 1. So what you are going to do is, for I that will start, I didn't declare I as a variable, and for I that will start from 0 to 8, let's enter the element in there, right? Enter the score I plus 1, I plus 1. We read score I, then our sum, let us put it to be capital, since we declare it in a capital letter. Our sum will be receiving sum plus score I. Okay, we close our loop. I next, and then we display our sign, right? Our average will be equal S divided by 9, and our program. Yeah, with this program we can solve the algorithm given. Okay, we go for the 8th exercise. The 9th exercise, the 8th exercise. We are going to. It says write an algorithm that allow the user to enter any number of value which should be stored in an array. This algorithm will request the user to enter the number of value that will be entered in the array. Finally, once the entry is complete, the program will display the number of negative value and the number of positive values. Let's do it. Here we will need to declare variables that will help us. This will hold the number of value the user will need in the array. This one will hold the number of positive value. This one will hold the number of negative value, and all these variable will be integers. Then we are going to declare an array. Let's call it T as a integer. Then we start our program. We write enter the number of values. We read number, then number positive will receive 0, number negative will receive 0. Now we start our loop for I that will start from 0 to I think we will need to resize our array based on the number of value. We forgot something very important here. Redeem T and number -1. This was very crucial. Then from here, that's of course we resize our array. For I, that will start from 0 to number minus 1. We are going to enter, right, enter a value number enter a value number I plus 1. We will read, let's read Ti. So after Ti, we are going to continue. After reading Ti, now if the Ti entered is greater than 0, then number positive will be receiving number positive plus 1 plus 1, else number positive, number negative will be receiving number negative plus 1, and our if. Then I next. Then we are going to display, right, the values or the positive values number pos, right, the negative values number neg. And then we end our program. This is it. And we go for the 9th exercise. Okay, so we are going for the 9th exercise. Write an algorithm constituting an array starting from 2 arrays of the same length previously entered. So here we assume that we have 2 arrays that already has values, and then from these 2 arrays we are going to create another array of which each value in that 3rd array will be the summation of the value of the previous array. Okay, and here this is what you are going to do. Okay, let's first clean our whiteboard. Let us clean it. Very good. Now here we are going to declare the variable. This is the 9th exercise. We are going to declare a variable I, the variable n, as integers. We are going to create an array. Let's say let's see what will be the dimension of this array. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means our array will be of 7 value. Array, let's say t1 will be t1 7. We'll be having another array t2 7, and another array t3 7 as integers, and from here we are going now to start. We assume that the first array and the second array already have value. I don't think we need this n. Let's only remain with I, and then we say for I that will start from 0 to 7. What will we be doing? T3I will be receiving T1I plus T2I, and then I next, and then we end our program. This will solve the problem. T1I will be added to T2I, and the result will be stored in T3I. So that's it. We go to the next exercise. Okay, we are going to the 10th exercise. It says write an algorithm that allow the entry of any number of value on the principle of exercise number 8. All value must then be increased by 1. So we are going first to enter value in the array. After the value are in the array, we will make sure then the next step will be to add 1 to each value in the array. I think I'm clear here. So let's do that. Number 10. Let's clean. Okay. Here we are going to declare a variable number, the variable I as integers, and we are going to declare our array T. We will not mention the dimension, the number of value it will hold, as integers, yes. Then we start our program. We write enter the number of values. We read number, and then we are going to redeem t to the number minus 1. We are resizing our array, and then we start for I that will start from 0. So that will start from 0 to number minus 1. What will happen? Right, enter the number I plus 1, and then we read ti. After that, I next. So on this part will allow the user to enter element where in the array. Now we are going to the next move, where now we are going to make sure every value within the array is added by 1 and display and get displayed. So we will open a loop. We'll open a loop again. Let's display, right? A new array. And then this is what you're going to do. For I that will start from 0 to number minus 1, and ti will be receiving ti plus 1. Okay, and we write ti. We write ti. I next, and we end our program. So from here you can see that this loop, it will make sure every value ti will be added 1, and after that to be saved in a ti. So I think this is the end of this exercise number 10. Let's go for the exercise number. We go for the exercise number 11. It say write an algorithm allowing always on the same principle the user to enter a determined number of values. The program, once entered, return the largest value, specifying which position it occupies in the array. We will take care of entering the data first and finding the highest value in the array later. So this is the program that will allow the user to enter element in the array. That will be phase number 1. Phase number 2, that program will search for the largest number the user has entered. After it has got the largest number, it will also look if this is the largest number in the array, it is on which position? Is it on position 0? Is it on position 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on? And lastly, it will display that number and the position it occupies. So let's do it. Here we are going to declare a variable. This is number 11, sorry. We're going to declare variables number, position of the largest number as a integer, as an integer, and we are going to declare our array. Let's call it T. We'll not now precise the number of value it will hold as a integer 2, and then we write enter the number of values. We read the number, and then we are going to resize our array based on the number of value that the user has entered. After the resizing, now we'll start our loop for I that will start from 0 to number minus 1. What will be happening, right? Enter the number I plus 1, and we read Ti, and then I next. Here we assume that our position large is on 0. Now we start our loop for I that will start from 0 to number minus 1. Here if Ti is greater than T position large, then position large will receive I, will be receiving I, and I next. Then we write the element, the largest element is T position large, and we display again, right, the position is on position large. We end our program. Yeah, that's it. We go for the next exercise. Okay, so the 12th exercise says, again and again on the same principle, write an algorithm allowing the user to enter the score of a class. The program, once the entry is completed, return the number of this score higher than the class average. Which student has scored the marks that is higher than the class average will be displayed. Let's do it. Okay, so let's do it. We'll need to first clean. You're going to declare variables, number, I, sum, yes, sum as integer. We're going to declare other variables such as average, and largest score as floats. And there we are going to declare our array. Let's call it T. As integer. Then we start our program. Right. Enter the number of score to type. We read number, and then we resize our array to t number minus 1, and then we open our loop for I that will start from 0 to number minus 1, right? Enter. The score I plus 1, and then we read ti I next. On this level, we have entered all the student score in our array. Now we are going to calculate the sum of all the scores to help us get the average. We assume here that the sum is equal to 0, and then for I that will start from 0 to number minus 1. What will happen? Sum will be receiving sum plus ti. That's it, and then I next. So as you can see, on this level we have calculated the summation of all the values that are in the array. Then we continue. After we have calculated the summation, it will be very easy to calculate the average. Our average will be receiving sum over the number of value. Now that we have the average, we are going to look of which score that has been entered into the array that is greater of this average found. And then we are going to assume that largest score equal to 0. Then we open the loop for I that will start from 0 to number minus 1. Now here, if ti is greater than average, then largest score will receive largest score plus 1. And then we end our if. Here we want to know how many students that has got a score that is larger than the average. Okay, now we end our if, and we close our loop, and then we display, right? I'm going to write L score. That means this number of students got are above, let's say, the class average. If, for example, it happened that L score, the number of students that are above the average are 20, here it will be displayed 20 students are above class average. Thanks. This is the end of the second part on the vectors. If you have any question concerning the exercise, you will need to contact me. Thank you very much.